My drink in there? Look. Okay.
Better get going there, mister.
I am going. And this is Bill Kinison coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas, sure.
Joe Sumter, good morning.
Joe Sumter, the Joe. I got to send him a message this week because I found some more of what he wants me to send to him, and I'm going to gladly do that.
Good morning, Rochelle Haas-Ward.
Rochelle Haas.
Yes.
She put up a thing on her thing. She's so pretty, I think.
Yes.
Such a pretty lady.
And Jack Friedman said, remember to subscribe to the Gospel According to Kinison.
All right, remember to
On
subscribe
YouTube.
to the Gospel or
The Gospel According to Kinison YouTube page.
YouTube page. All right, all right.
Good morning, Derek Kustra.
Derek, every Sunday. It's good to have Derek on there.
He said good morning. Jerry Nicholson.
Jerry Nicholson and his family. Fantastic people, good people, good people.
He said he's been missing us for the last month.
I know he has. I was wondering where he was at. Thought maybe he got caught up into something. Anyway, this is, for you that's tuning in, this is the Gospel According to Kinison. I am your illustrious host. I am the man. Bill Kinison, if you want to blame somebody, I'm the guy. I am the guy, but I'm charged up. Sherry, is Alfonso on there yet?
Not yet. Gary Witt said, I finally found you.
I'm not hard to find, Gary.
Well, we were running a little bit late.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were. But we're here.
Dara Bunch, good morning. Tim Steams,
I
good morning.
I used to attend his dad's church in Bellevue, Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Yep, the Bunches. And they actually preached revival for us in Oklahoma City. Do you remember them?
Oh, yes.
Brother and Sister Bunch, yes.
Joe Sumter said, good morning, sunshine.
Oh, that's me. Or is he talking to you?
He's
I don't
talking
know.
to both of us.
Oh, he's talking to both of us.
And Tim Steams, good morning.
Sure, you know what I don't have?
What?
I don't have my message.
Well, go ahead.
All right, Sherry can go get the message. And we want to encourage everyone that's been following us. I just believe we met with someone this week that was in San Antonio, I think on vacation, and actually went to California. And while they was here, we were able to have lunch with him. And I found out that he puts Alfonso down, but his name is Al. Al Nero, I forget his last name. Brown. That's right, it is Brown. And his beautiful wife, Nikki, and he had his friend, oh man, I don't want to say the wrong name.
From England.
Yeah, from England. And we had a great, great lunch. And I think that we have the greatest listeners that watch our program that exist. I can't imagine anyone having greater listeners than we have. And Sherry and I don't take that lightly. We don't take that lightly. When we say you're our family, you are our family. When you hurt, we hurt. When you need prayer, we're the first ones that'll be praying for you. When we announce it, you got several hundred more that also are praying with you. Just great people. I thank God that he brought you into our lives and into our path. And is there anything else before we get started? Can you think of anything?
No, I'll think while you're preaching.
While we're preaching what?
While you're teaching, I'll think.
Oh, okay. All right. Before I get into our lesson, I think it's interesting. That we have several. I don't even know how many preachers that watch our program every Sunday. Some of them, I think, watch it to get positive thoughts and maybe get ideas for a message. And then I don't know why some of the rest of them watch us because they really don't like what we teach. But they can tell me what I have taught almost verbatim, and they will send me messages. Some of the messages that I received just this past week, but I get these every week. One was from a preacher, and he said he doesn't believe in teaching people to love their self and to tell them how great they are. And where is our love for souls, for lost souls? And he went on. I think he's sincere, and there were several actually that express that same thing. Some of them accused me of teaching New Age, and I really got to find out what that is. Maybe that's something good. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what New Age is. I teach you what God has put in my heart and what has worked in our lives. I think the problem is that I believe in a bigger God than they do. I think they believe in a God for a select few. And if you talk to them, they will even express that to you. When Jesus comes, he's coming after a few. And they will pretty much say that not even everyone in their own church will make the rapture. It's very difficult to make their rapture. You've got to be a part of a church without a spot, a blemish, or any such thing, as they say. And that's very difficult. I was raised that way, and I'm going to tell you something. It's almost impossible. I serve a bigger God. I serve a God of everybody, not a select group, not a few, but everybody. Jesus came to this world, and not only him, there's been other masters that have come to this world for the world, not for just a few. I used to think how unfair it was. There was, as a young person, I used to think how unfair it was for a God that says he loves us unconditionally. That's the important word, unconditionally. Without any conditions, he loves us. But yet, he puts down conditions. And if you do not live according to these conditions, he not only has made conditions for his unconditional love, but he has given you severe penalties of going to hell throughout eternity, time without end. That's an oxymoron, but that's the way they explain it. Where you'll be tortured forever and ever and ever. I'm sorry. I can't believe in a God like that. The God that I live for and lives in me and lives in you, has sent his masters with a message, almost every one of them, of grace. Now let me explain what grace is, because we say that we're saved by grace through faith. That's what Christians will tell you. Well, let me tell you what grace is. Grace is the unmerited favor of God. Woo! I'm sorry, I get excited about it. Other words, it's the favor of God that you can't do anything to get. It's yours. You cannot merit the favor of God. It's the unmerited favor of God. Somebody said, well, don't you have a desire to save souls? I believe in the God I serve. He saves the souls. I believe he has saved the souls. We have a lot of things we fear in life. One of the things we should not fear and should not doubt is the outcome of our existence. That we should not fear and we should not worry about. because that has already been decided. Oh, man, I tell you, the grace of God. I didn't plan on getting into that so much, but I just wanted to clear it up, because they also say, well, I don't ever make altar calls. No, I don't. I don't know that I ever have. Not just on this program. I don't know if I ever did pastoring churches. Because I think that there is a time, according to the Scriptures, there is a time appointed of the Father, whereby you recognize Him and you will call Abba, Father, at the time He's appointed. Other words, you'll realize your sonship to God. I want to minister a little bit this morning. I want to teach you a little bit this morning. I want to start with Matthew 4:4, and I believe the Bible, more than anything, is probably the greatest success manual I've ever read in my life. And I don't get up here and brag. I've read the Bible 6 times, 10 times. I don't know how many times I have, because it's my favorite book. And I read in Matthew 4:4 in this manual that it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. But, here's the important part. Every time that you read something or you hear somebody say something, then they go, but, what they're really telling you is forget about what I just told you. Now listen to this. But, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. Don't worry about that. But, by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. That's how we live. That's how we live. My Kinison principle is this: you'll never get any further than the ideas in your mind. It is important to feed your mind only right ideas. That's very important. That's one of the greatest principles I can tell you. I want to tell you about a story. I think I told it to you before, 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. I don't know. Memory isn't like it was. But I want to tell you about it. It was about a man that had a couple hot dog shops there in Upland, California, where we lived. Or I shouldn't say shops. They were fantastic hot dogs. He called them Chicago dogs. And they were just great. I loved them. And his business was booming. He had opened up another one besides the one that he started with. And it was booming. And people loved his hot dogs. And they bought more, and they bought more. And the man believed in his business, and they need for someone to do what he was doing. He had a need for them because people wanted it. He believed in that business. This man was busy advertising and selling his product and making lots of money. He was doing well with it. He didn't even have time. He told me one time he didn't even have time to read the newspaper. He told me he didn't have time to listen to the radio or the television. So consequently, he never heard a word about a predicted recession, which we can identify with today. He never knew a word about it, or the need to cut back to save the economy. As long as he continued to offer his products, his hot dogs, his customers bought them. He kept selling, and they kept buying. Then one day he had a son, well-educated son, that told him that people wouldn't have enough money to buy his hot dogs. And so the man believed that. So you know what he did? He quit advertising. Took down the big banner. He just quit advertising. Excuse me just a moment here. He quit advertising, and he believed in what his son had told him because he's very educated. So he started ordering less supplies. He even went so far to take down, like I told you, the banner out on the street. And sure enough, people stopped coming to him. People thought maybe he was closed. They stopped coming and buying his hot dogs. And when he went broke, you know what he told me? How smart his son was in predicting this was going to happen. I want you to listen to that little story. Isn't that amazing? But we have people, we live our lives like that. You see, everything in life comes from the ideas in your mind. I want you to remember that. This story, it's a good example of how powerful your mind is. If you start believing something, it will happen. It will happen. It doesn't make any difference whether or not it's a good or bad. It will come about if you think it'll come about. He thought that inflation was going to come, recession's going to come. And you know what? It did to him. You see, those of you that follow my teachings, you've heard me say this many times, but I want to repeat it again. It's such an important principle that it bears repeating. Everything in life comes from the ideas of your mind. Everything. Everything. This is what Jesus meant when he said, according to your faith, be it unto you. That's exactly what he was telling you. From the ideas of your mind, it's going to come to you. According to your idea about yourself, according to the idea in your mind, be it unto you. Good or bad. Good or bad, that's up to you. We pick our own journeys. In other words, the experiences that we have in the outer world, or the world that we see out here, that we live in, will come from the inner world of thought. Now, we're big on blaming people, blaming situations, blaming circumstances for why we are where we are. But it's very simple that you need just to be careful what you think. And be careful what you say. Feed yourself. Feed your mind. Right ideas. Try to be try to be the only things that you think about. When you pray for prosperity, well, you can pray for it all you want. But if you have the idea of poverty in your mind, you'll never prosper. And you'll be upset with everybody else. You'll blame them. And you'll eventually start thinking it's wrong to be prosperous. But it goes back. You can pray all you want. But if you have the idea of poverty in your mind, you'll never prosper. Let's get a little closer to you. You can pray for the healing of your body all you want. But if you have the idea of sickness in your mind, you'll never be healthy. I live this, people. I live this. I live on thinking positive thoughts. You that know me personally, you have to admit I'm probably one of the most positive people you've ever met. I don't get upset with what they tell us the economy's doing. I don't get upset with the different viruses. My God, I can't even keep a list of all the things that I have to worry about getting. And I'm always the target group. As old as I am, I'm always one of the target groups. I'm the most susceptible. I don't accept that. I don't even let it think in my mind that way. I think prosperity. I think health. That's why I tell you not to listen when other people tell you bad things. I remember when Sherry was going through cancer. And everybody, knows someone or they have went through cancer or breast cancer, which is what she had. And then I started noticing that most of the stories were very depressing. How their Aunt Susie died. Their mother died. So finally I got to where, when they'd start telling me a story, I go, wait a minute, hold it. Is this going to end well? If it's not going to end well, I don't want to hear it. I don't want that into my thought process. Don't let bad thoughts into your mind or they will happen in your life. Woo! It's very simple, but you know what? It's also so deep. That's why I advise people. I haven't advised you in a while on this, but I'm going to again today. I'm going to remind you. Never listen or watch the news before you go to sleep. Never do it. Somebody said, oh, but why? All that bad news will just creep into your mind, and before you know it, you're in a real fix. And then you don't understand where it came from. Remember, thoughts are powerful. They're powerful. Thoughts are powerful food for your mind. That's why you should only, as much as you're capable of doing, only think good thoughts. Think only positive thoughts. Here's another point I want to make. I want you to put it on your fridge or write it down or something. Feed your mind healthy ideas. If you don't, the world will give you negative ideas which will manifest in your life. When's the last time you've heard anything positive come out of our government? All I hear is negative. And I hear a lot of lying. But it always ends up being negative. So, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is you are what you think. What you feed your mind in the way of ideas is what you become. So you better make sure those thoughts are nourishing. Every once in a while, I'll look on the labels of food. See how many carbs are in it. How many grams of sugar. How much sodium. Well, I want you to be careful what you say, like being careful over what you eat. Next time you get ready to eat something, read the label on the package or the container it comes in. I promise you that if the word poison appeared on that label, you wouldn't eat it. You'd go, I don't care what it is. I'm not eating that stuff. That's the same reaction you should have to negative thoughts. Don't eat them. Do not eat those negative thoughts. When you start to have a thought, read its context. If it's bad stuff, don't consume any of it. Refuse to dwell on that. Bad thoughts will only bring bad experiences in your life. When you decide what you want, begin feeding your mind pictures of it. I don't care how big the pictures are. The bigger, the better. You'll be amazed at how fast it will come about. When you lay down at night and your mind's going everywhere, start imagining. Get it into your mind the kind of house you love to live in. The kind of money you'd love to have. The kind of car that you would have. The kind of help that you would love to give to other people and give to your family. Dwell on that. And it will come to pass, my Lord. When you decide what you want, you'll get it. But you have to decide. Don't sit there and lay at night and think of all the reasons why it can't happen. I only make this much money. I can't pay my rent. I can't hardly feed my family. Don't dwell on that. Get into that other area of that mind. Visualize clearly in your mind the good that you desire. That's what my visualization techniques is all about. See yourself being, doing, and having the best in life. Dwell on that. Accept it in your mind and it will come into your life. I've got a beautiful wife. Been married 50 years. I really, and I still probably think, I shot way over my head. When I fell in love with her, I thought, there's no way this woman would marry and would love somebody like me. What are you laughing about?
I'm just smiling at you.
Oh, okay. But you know what? I visualized us. I had a visual of us. Not only living in a nice house or whatever, I had a visual of us in the ministry. And you know what? We ended up with the same desires in the ministry to help people. Somehow we got on the same road on our journey in life. And Sharon, we've done all right. God's been good to us. God has shown us and has given us secrets in our heart that God in us that will help other people if they'll just latch on to it. We're not any more special than each one of you watching us this morning. I'm not any closer to God than any of you. I recognize the God in me and what He's capable of doing. Sharon, did you give me a sign, or have I got like another 12 minutes?
No, you have no more time.
No more? Well, all right, bye-bye. Now, Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity that you gave us this morning. Lord, let this inspire us. Let us remove all negativity out of our lives. And let us have the positive. Let us have the dreams. You said you would give us the desires of our heart. So show us the way to attain those desires. I'll give you all the praise. Amen. God love you. Since I saw you, we had Veterans Day. And I want to thank every veteran that we've ever come in contact with. I want to thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Many laid down their lives. You that didn't, you still made a sacrifice to give us and give this country the freedom that we have. Sherry and I want to thank you for that, and we mean that deeply. We'll be back next week. I love you. Sherry loves you. God loves you. And God bless America.
Thank you, Scott Ross. Yes, I got lucky too. Love you.
What, did you win the lottery or what?
No, he was saying that I was lucky getting you.
Well, I really like Scott now. All right, I love all of you. We'll see you next week.